The sun will come out tomorrow. Today, the sun arrived. February 9th, 2024. The sun came out in Summerland. Yay! Blue skies, the beautiful Okanagan Lake, and a glorious day. I had a few questions about plasma and boiled plasma in particular, and flooding ear canals and stuff like that. So I thought I'd elaborate a little farther on the previous video of how to kind of like the basics of getting started with plasma therapy. So boiled plasma, as per the Damar Tantra, if anybody has read that, which is a fabulous book on plasma cycling, with all kinds of different sort of recipes. They mix it with different herbs, and the boiled plasma in particular is what they recommend for topical use. Boiled plasma in the book, they recommend boiling it in a clay pot over an open flame, but I've never been able to do that. We've always just simmered it kind of on low medium heat until it's 1/4 of the volume. So after it's reduced to 1/4 volume, we just bottle that up and use it liberally topically. Anuka, a friend of mine, uses it in her ears as drops, and Lee Gold Dragon, he uses it liberally before he goes out in the sun to do his sunning. He's got super sensitive skin when it comes to catching rays, but when he uses the boiled plasma as a before and after sun care, he can really actually be in the sun and not get sunburnt. And gives him a beautiful sunny glow and not a burnt red situation. It's really enabled him to actually be in the sun. I kind of use it more as a serum. Now, of course, with my big move from Asia and moving away from all of my liters and liters and liters of aged plasma, most of it over a year old, and having to start all over again, I'm really feeling that, my body really misses up the luxury of having so much, because I was really like splashing around in it, let's say, and obviously that's not happening now. I haven't had boiled plasma in over a month now, and I'm kind of kicking myself now that I didn't actually bring a bottle of that with me and my aged, but this is my situation, so I'm just rolling with it. And having to change locations, I've only been in Summerland for must be just over a week now or something like that. And I didn't bring any of my aged plasma with me from Campbell River. I actually gifted that to a dear friend of mine on Quadra Island, and I hope she uses it, because I surely would be diving into a friend of mine's if I, especially younger, I'm gonna say. I'm a little, just the vibe of the person, and there's things I would take into account if I was using someone else's plasma: their diet, their age, and their sex. So I would definitely use another woman's plasma who had a clean diet and a healthy attitude towards life, and especially if she was younger, I would tap into that too. So the aged boiled reduced to 1/4, you really can't go wrong using that topically. I've mixed that with my moringa oil at times and use that as like a face serum, and yeah, you really can't go wrong with that one. If you whatever skin issue you have going on, I think the boiled, in my experience, the boiled plasma has been really powerful. The aged plasma, just straight up on its own, I know I used to use that a lot. That used to be my dominant thing, but I found it like a little bit harsh over time, using aged plasma, and even fresh. I don't know. I think this is another one of those things where you just have to try it for yourself and see what feels right for you. And there is no one solution to any of this as far as plasma therapy goes. It really and truly is a personal journey. And I encourage people to try new things out with it and see what feels right to them. But the boiled plasma, in my experience and the experience of people around me, sensitive skin people, definitely, and a deeper level of hydration and nourishing. It has an incredible, it's like oily when you reduce it. It's really glossy, let's say, and it just soaks into the skin so beautifully and really feels nourishing. Lee would keep his in a spray bottle, and we would be riding around town on our bicycles. You know, he gets a lot of sun and his body just can't tolerate it the way my skin can. And he would spray down while he was out in the sun with it. And I mean, it was really shocking to see because he really has sensitive skin. I'd love to have a conversation with him about this, actually. We're not, he's in Chiapas and I'm here, so it's also a totally different climate, and really missing the boiled plasma right now. Oh, it's so glorious out. Let's just pan around and get some view here. Some walnut trees there. And another two here in the garden. So boiled plasma, and as far as detoxing goes, and someone was asking about having a detox expression and how to slow that down, definitely just dial back your usage, dial back how much you're drinking. I think drinking is sort of the biggest one. I only drink really my fresh plasma. Sometimes I'll put a splash of aged plasma in there, but generally I'm just drinking. And the Bastille, because I don't have so much of my aged also, I'm now doing more blending with fresh and aged. And I do that sometimes the best. It's more leaning towards an enema, like I'm probably doing like 100 ml. Sometimes I do more. If I'm not feeling well, I'll actually do more. And it does create a flushing action in me, but it feels good to get that out. Because I've altered my diet so much. I've actually tonight I'm going out for a meal, and I know that the main course is gonna be animal flesh, and this is the last dining out experience that I have in my calendar where I'm gonna participate in this. This is like I'm going back, and for the last several days now, I have no desire to eat flesh anymore. So, but I know I will be having a little bit tonight because it's going to be part of the main course. And I'll talk about that more later. It's been interesting because I've spent the last 7 years in Luang Prabang basically in like a kind of hermitage, like I haven't had a lot of interaction with people, and my social life was really very much reduced. Like we would see other people, but we wouldn't go to dinner engagements and things like this. We were really had quite a few years of solitude, actually, especially the last 4 years. And so coming back to North America and back into this social dynamics of things and re-engaging with my family and re-engaging with friends has been really interesting to observe myself in these social situations and coming back into being social with people and just being surrounded by so much of my family, which I haven't been around my family in 7 years. And just also there's a lot of emotional stuff there. And the flesh eating really, I feel like it is like another kind of substance addiction and like a lowering of my vibration to fit in a way. I'm not going to get into too much of this right now because it's still really heavy for me to process everything. And even to process the move, it still continues to be a bit of a challenge. So I'm trying to be easy on myself here, which is interesting because you then, like, I know I've been subjecting my body to like harm. And someone was asking about, do you think your body is always under detox? And on some level, and for sure this is my experience. And coming from a different climate, I was in Luang Prabang. This is the dry season there, where it's like beautiful and, you know, cooler temperatures, but really warm during the day and nice and dry, into this really cold, well, it's more dry here, but I went to cold and a lot of moisture in Campbell River. So huge change in climate. I mean, I had to go and do a big shop in order for me to even come here this time of year because, you know, I didn't even have shoes. So I was just operating on sandals and yeah, so really big difference with climate and a huge difference in my food. Never mind the meat, like just the access to all of that fruit and all of the veg that we ate and all of the fermented sugarcane juice and my enzymes that I had that I was fermenting, and just everything about what I was consuming and the environment I was living in changed. And my body, when I arrived here, I wasn't easy on myself by going into a carnivore diet, and it was obvious. Like, I was really detoxing hard, and you know, in hindsight, like, I wish I'd have been in a better emotional position to handle that all better, but you know, it is what it is, and boy did I learn a lot from it. So there's many sides to this besides the detox expression that I went through, because there was a new baby in the home, and then I was not feeling well, and then most of my family was, they still have this strong beliefs in germ theory, and you know, so there was a lot to handle there too, and I feel like I really subjected myself to that. Like, I don't know, if I'd have just handled things differently and been able to stay healthy, I could have avoided a lot of unnecessary conflict. But it's interesting also at the same time to see that and to experience that and live through that, and to see how people are just unable to kind of like look at the change that happened for me in my living environment and my emotional, the whole emotion behind this big move, And to just blame it on a germ like that doesn't exist, it was just, I really felt like no one saw that big change, and all they saw was a supposed virus, and that it wasn't from all of these other things that were going on. So it feels like no one is looking at the bigger picture, and they're just pointing to this, like, yeah. And I think that's that's part of the big issue that a lot of people have when they go to see someone and get help when they're not feeling well, is no one asks them about what changes have gone on in their lives and what kind of stress they're under, and the bigger picture, what diet changes that they've had, and all of these things that lead to huge changes in the physical body. So it really showed me that. So in a way, I'm kind of like, I have to be grateful for the whole experience and learn from it. Otherwise, it would just be a complete, otherwise I would just be living in ignorance. So I'm happy for it. And it's a beautiful journey that we're all on. And plasma sure has helped me to see things deeper. And interesting to be back in my parents' home now and looking through these old photographs of myself from, when I was in my late teens and early 20s, and the amount of inflammation that I had in my body. I feel better now than I felt when I was in my early 20s, which is just astonishing to me. And it's like, when I look at these pictures of myself and think of the digestion issues that I'd constantly been going through, and the migraine headaches that I was constantly medicating myself for, it's shocking to look back at that. And I kind of had forgotten about that, because it just, when you don't, it's been 2 years since I've been plasma cycling, and with so much going on in my life, I never really looked back and reflected that far back in my life to see this huge change that it's made. So yeah, it's been remarkable. And I just really, super powerful the earlier you start this, and I can really see that, like, in the images and in the energy behind these photos of myself. I'm like, wow, this is so powerful. So powerful. Yeah. So whoever is on this plasma journey, I just encourage you to continue, and would love to hear your stories. So that's it for now. Oh, the sun feels so good. Okay, ciao for now. Bye.